Y'all, we are live. We are live. We are live. This is part two of I read Jada Pinkett's book, Worthy. And a lot of people are literally furious at me for actually buying this woman's book. And then somebody in the comments literally said, you must be getting paid to talk about her book. No, I'm not. I'm just what's the word? I'm intrigued by this whole Jada Pinkett, Tupac, Will Smith triangle or love triangle. And it's interesting and it's intriguing. So this is part two. If you guys didn't see part one, after watching this show, go and watch part one. I'm sure if you've seen this video, is on my page on Instagram. I mean, not on Instagram, on Facebook or YouTube, is right up under this video. It's so good. So everybody hit the like button, come on in, wipe your feet, get ready, eat some popcorn, get you some popcorn, because this is going to be crazy. Because like I said in part one, I easily can tell you by reading her book why Jada Pinkett is so freaking toxic. And like I said in part one, the biggest problem in this whole situation with Will and Jada isn't Jada Pinkett, it's Will Smith. And we want to talk about that. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Mr. Let Go on YouTube, and follow me on Facebook, Mr. Let Go on Facebook. So let's get started. And on top of that, I got a surprise guest that is going to add a whole lot of value to what we're talking about. So I read Jada Pinkett's book, and I think I'm on chapter 12 or something, right? It's a pretty long book. And what's up, Shira? What's going on? The intellectual soapbox. Everybody hit the like button and drop your city in the chat, and I'll shout you out. The reason why I wanted to do this show and the last show is because after reading Jada Pinkett's book, one thing I learned is that Jada Pinkett isn't evil. Jada Pinkett is toxic. And is a superb difference. And the book was superbly written. Like I can follow it, it's really good, right? But altogether, it gave me an understanding that she's just telling her story. And this is what she said in her own words. She said, it's not necessarily fair to not be able to tell your story because another person is a part of the story. So if you are telling your story about your life, but your whole adult life, or almost your whole adult life, you are married to somebody. So that means virtually every scenario having to do with your adult life is attached to this other person. Do you not tell your story? Do you just stay quiet? The answer is no. So Jada Pinkett is somewhat of a terrible person, but she isn't this evil villain that everybody thinks she is. She's a damaged, toxic, problematic, dysfunctional, traumatized little girl. And I'm not even going to say she's misunderstood, because she's not. She is who she is. But the problem with this is, and the reason why I say it's Will Smith's problem and fault, is because Will Smith knew she was this problematic, toxic, traumatized little girl. And he decided to forget about all the red flags involved with Jada Pinkett and still be with her, even though to a certain degree she wasn't even feeling Will. Y'all ever seen a guy that seen a pretty woman that just had to have her no matter what? And she kind of like played hard to get, and she was just like, no, I'm good. No, no, no. And he's just like, just give me one more chance, or buy her some flowers or whatever. Guess what? That was Will Smith. Will Smith is the ultimate cornball that literally just coerced her into wanting to be with him. And a lot of you ladies can easily would easily tell me that I would say virtually most of you have dated a man that you didn't necessarily care to be with, but he was so into you where you just like, all right, I'm gonna give him a chance. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that statement, ladies. If you've ever dated a man that you wasn't into, but he was so in your face, well, you're like, all right, okay, okay, okay. It looks like you're not gonna give up. I'm gonna give you a chance. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all, if y'all have seen that. Because here's the thing, y'all. As a black man, it's kind of pathetic for any of you who think this. As a black man, it's really pathetic to sit here and look at this whole situation with Will and Jada and blame Jada Pinkett for any of this. I'm sorry. It's kind of stupid and it's kind of pathetic because as a man, your choice of a woman, just like as a woman, your choice of a man is one of the most important decisions you're ever going to make. And if you just fall in love with a woman because she's pretty, she has a nice body, and you ignore all the red flags, or because a guy's handsome and he's tall or whatever, and you ignore all the red flags, and you turn around and have a baby with that person, like Jada Pinkett did, like Will Smith did. Will Smith wanted her 1,000%. Jada Pinkett was like, no, like, and she just gave him a chance. A lot of y'all put 1s in the chat and said, yeah, y'all have given a chance to a man that you wasn't really into. So y'all understand how Jada Pinkett felt, especially when a dude got money. I'll say it again, especially when a dude got money. Start buying you all this stuff, flying you out. Of course, you're going to say, you know what? All right, I'm going to give him a chance. So this is on Will Smith. He's a person who actually turned around and scooped this girl up, knowing she didn't want to be with him, and she gave him a chance, and he ruined his own life. So let me shout y'all out. Put your city in the chat, and I'll shout you out, and we're going to get started. Everybody, make sure to hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, and share this video. This video is going to be helpful to men and women alike. Share this video. So what I need y'all to do while I'm shouting these cities out is to share this video, like the video, and hit done when you share the video. And let me do this, and we're going to get started. And for those of you just coming in, this is part 2 of I Read Jada Pinkett Smith's book. All right, shout out to Raleigh, North Carolina, Anderson, Alabama. Yeah, I've seen his response. We're going to talk about his response also. Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, Lafayette, Georgia, and all right, y'all hitting done in the chat. I appreciate y'all. And also, before we get started, I need at least 10 people to buy my card game. A lot of y'all have not bought this card game, and a lot of y'all have. Even if you bought the card game, buy another card game or buy 2 more card games and give it away for Christmas. A lot of y'all are not going to be a lot of y'all are not really going to be looking around in the malls trying to figure out what to buy somebody that you don't really want to buy something expensive for. Buy this card game. It's a $28 card game. You could give it to them at work, or a friend or whatever. Boom, give it to your cousin. One last thing you got to buy for. All right, one less person you got to buy for. So buy my Deeper Discussions card game. And like I said before, it will help you identify a Jada Pinkett that you may be dating. It will help you identify the Jada Pinketts around you. Because some of y'all got some really toxic friends, toxic cousins, toxic co-workers. This game will help them get out of their own way. Because when you're playing this game and you're asking these questions with a mate or friend or family member or a group of people, guess what? You're going to learn something about yourself, because there's a lot of questions in this card game that's going to have you like, yo, I didn't know I was so toxic. Forget about the other person. I'm learning that I'm toxic. So this card game is going to show you how toxic you are. Buy this card game. It will help you. I promise you. I ain't just creating something just to be creating something. It's helpful to people. All right. Share this video. Share this video. Share this video. All right. Let me bring my guest up. Nika, you ready? And we're going to get to it. All right. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on?
Hi. Hey, everybody. Hey. Mr. You want me to call you Mr. Let Go or Aaron?
You call me Aaron.
Okay, cool. I'm happy to be amongst you all this evening.
So introduce yourself real quick.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Nika Onilla4, and I have a YouTube channel with 15,000 subscribers. My whole thing is making the invisible visible to the modern Black woman. And so the interesting thing about my platform is that although I make things visible for Black women, I clearly do that for men because most of my viewers are Black men. Mm-hmm. So yes, and I'm excited for this conversation because I actually have a lot to say about the invisible Black woman, which I do believe Jada may identify as.
Okay, so the invisible Black woman, in part 2, I would say virtually the majority of the show I did was about Jada Pinkett feeling invisible. And even as I go farther in Jada Pinkett's book, she easily talked about how even in her acting career, once she blew up, she still felt invisible because she was so little, right? She didn't have the booty, she didn't have the boobs, she wasn't voluptuous, she didn't have the hair like she had hair like yours, just a natural hair. She wasn't the wig wearing, long flowing hair. You know, I love when women wear their natural hair, right? So altogether, she felt like people would say you're a great actress, but what's going on with your hair? You're a great actress, but like, can you gain some weight? You're a great actress, but you're rough around the edges. You know how she was in a lot of the movies. She was a little rough around the edges, like in Set It Off. You know, right. So when it came to a movie like I can't remember the name of it, but a couple of movies where she had to be super feminine.
Yeah,
it was like I don't know about her, right? So on a normal basis, throughout her whole life, she felt like nobody really seen her. So that's kind of like what I can understand when it comes to the invisible woman. So the day before yesterday, I left off part one of I read Jada's book. I explained how one of the reasons why Jada Pinkett is not was, but is so toxic. She's a very toxic person, in my opinion. Is because she not only lost her father one time, she lost her father 3 times. And I think losing somebody, mourning over somebody that meant so much to you, and losing them again, and then losing somebody a 3rd time can break anybody.
Yeah.
So I had to just give her grace for that. So the first father she lost, because there were 3 different men, was her biological father. Her biological father was on heroin, and he just couldn't do it no more, right? He was around, he was on and off, you know, just like the typical drug addict person. They come back, oh, I'm going to get clean, I'm here, and next thing you know, he starts acting up again, disappears, acting the fool. The next thing you know, comes back, oh, baby girl, I'm here for you. And next thing you know, he starts forgetting stuff and stealing TVs and just back out on the street. And she's just like, yo, what is you doing? You're ruining my life, right? And he just got to the point, he was just like, yo, Jada, I can't do this no more. Like, I'm not going to get it right. And it don't make no sense. I can't be your daddy. So just imagine your father looking at you in the eye and saying, I can't be your daddy. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You
That's
feel
right.
like the biggest burden on the planet.
Yeah.
So it's like the heron isn't the burden, the daughter is the burden.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not like, hey, heron, I can't do this no more. I'm out. No, it's,
right.
hey, daughter, I can't do this no more. I want to do heron. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's a lot, especially for a kid.
Yeah. And honestly, I can relate, not that extent, but my father was an alcoholic. And
Mm,
so this is why, I'm happy you read the book. So I don't necessarily have to, because I don't have time,
yeah.
but it was helpful because I was like, wow, I can relate to so much. I can see so much of Jada in me. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the losing him 3 times thing, but just in terms of when you have a parent who, as a kid, when you see your parent choose a substance over you, you can't understand it. You don't, I didn't know anything about addiction and, and all of that stuff. I just knew that
Mm-hmm.
my father was choosing alcohol over me.
Yeah.
That was just how I interpreted that. And that was the foundation actually of
Mm-hmm.
the Invisible Black Woman.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to just really quickly circle back to something you were saying before. You were talking about Jada feeling invisible, because she's small
Mm-hmm.
and that type of thing. Um, the way I describe invisibility in my book and the way I relate to invisibility is it's that, but in my case, I actually see myself as being more hyper visible as far as physically. So I never really struggled with invisibility like physically,
Mm-hmm.
but my invisibility is more emotional. And I
Okay.
assert that a lot of Black women struggle with emotional invisibility. And what I mean is this going back to the unworthiness, going
Mm-hmm.
back to feeling insignificant, and essentially it's emotions. So you might actually look the part, but people don't realize that deep inside you feel unworthy, and
So let
that
me
dictates a lot of your behaviors. Yeah.
so let me ask you this, because I actually asked this to one of the ladies in my coaching group last night. I coach women. And one of the ladies asked, said something like that, right? She says, okay, so this was a scenario, right? Um, I said one of the reasons why so many women are pookie pickers, which is women will get with a man that is a loser or dumb or jobless or live with a mama, is because like her programming, her initial programming,
Mm-hmm.
just like with Jada Pinkett, is always some woman in the background, whether it's your mama, your auntie, or whoever, that will tell you, don't let no man control you,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So there's this need to always be in control, right? So me and a young lady was talking in a group chat. I mean, not a group chat, in a group call, and she says, this is that, da 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 da. So I'm like, okay, so let's unwind this. And I said, you seem to have a need to be right all the time. She said,
Mm.
I can see that. And this is a problem with black women. Black women, for some reason, feel like they have to be right all the time. And it's an
Mm.
addiction to certainty. See, as long as you know exactly what's going on, you
Sure.
feel safe.
Sure.
You don't want nothing come out of the
Right.
nowhere, right? You want no surprises. And when there is a surprise, you catastrophize the surprise. Ah, oh my God, my life is over. You have a flat tire,
Yeah.
you think your
The
whole
need
life
to
is over.
control. It's like
What else
control
can
freak.
happen? It's a freaking tire. Just get it fixed, right? So it's like this need to be in control of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking to her and I say, so if you have this insatiable need to be right, can you imagine being in a relationship or a marriage with a man that is smarter than you? Because if you're in a relationship or marriage with a man that's smarter than you, he's going to be right all the time and not you. Can you imagine being in a relationship where you're almost never right because he knows so much? She literally was like, no.
I was gonna
And
say.
I'm like, so you
Right.
don't want a man to lead you? She was like, yeah, I want a man to lead me. but you don't want a man to be
Mm.
smarter than you. She's like,
Cognitive dissonance.
cognitive dissonance, right? Everybody hit the like button. Look, Facebook, I'm gonna say this one time. Y'all better hit this freaking like button. Y'all tripping. YouTube also. Can y'all please hit the freaking like button? Y'all tripping. Y'all ain't hit this button. And share this video. Share this video, hit the like button, share this video, hit a like button, share this video, hit a like button, share this video, hit a like button, and buy my card game. Okay. The link is under this video. The link is over this video. The link is in the description. And on YouTube, you can hit the shop button and just boop, buy the card game. Buy this card game because you already know you don't know what to buy your people for Christmas. Buy 3 of these card games so you can have a Christmas gift on deck for everybody. All right, buy my card game. Let's go. So, so with me just unraveling this for her, she came to the realization where she's just like, I never thought about it like that. If I have this insatiable need to be right, and I need to be in control, how can I be in a relationship with a man that's smarter than me and knows more than me without me going crazy?
Yeah.
And I said, this is the conundrum. Go ahead.
No, I mean, and that would actually be an example of what I'm going through right now. And what I would say was I would be the one that we say, okay, well, you're more book smart, I'm more educated, but he's more street smart. And we all know that book smarts can only get you so far, right? And so
it can't get you nowhere, actually. And let me say this real quick. Book smart can't get you nowhere. It can only get you a job.
Get you exactly.
And guess what? Nobody ain't got no job right now.
But the reality is, I agree that the street smarts trumps the book smarts in the sense that think of all the billionaires who didn't go to college, right?
None of them.
Right. All the Elon Musk.
Most successful men never went to college.
Right. So
who do me? I ain't never went to college. I never will go to college. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shock. That's a shocker, Aaron.
No.
But I want to. Okay. So this is actually something I'm going to bring up on my channel, and I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback. But do you think there are some Black women, more than maybe the average person thinks, who actually embrace accountability subconsciously?
No, y'all aren't programmed. Women, your brains are not wired to be accountable for anything. Women's brains are wired to be victims of men.
See,
the world is ran by men. So let me give you an example. Women need to, it's about the need for certainty, right? The addiction to certainty.
Yeah,
I asked one of the ladies, I said, if it was raining, storming, right? And a tree fell on your house, is it the tree's fault? Is it the rain's fault? Is it your fault, or is it the house's fault? Do you know she was just like, the tree's fault? I said, it ain't nobody's fault. That's just nature. I said, but do you see how you have this insatiable need to assign fault? This is how women are wired. It has to be somebody's fault, so you can relieve yourself of the fault. And sometimes transversely, you'll turn around and say, everything's my fault. I'm unworthy, right? Because it goes back to this feeling of I'm not worthy. And because you don't think you're worthy, you have to put on a persona like you are worthy. So it's like you're doing two different things at the same time. I'm a good woman. Why don't these men want me? I'm a good woman, but at the same time, I'm unworthy.
Yeah, that's a big contradiction. But let me ask you this, because I see there's a lot of women in your, despite this perception that you don't really like Black women, again, that came from my community. You have a lot of women followers. I'm seeing so many comments from women in this comment section. So you hold women accountable. I see you as somebody who holds Black women accountable. Why do your Black women followers, why do they keep tuning in to you?
So that's I'm glad you asked that, because there's two groups of women. There's women who actually want to grow and want to change, and women who don't. Okay. So imagine a crab, a bunch of crabs in a barrel, right? We all know the crab in a barrel mentality, right? I don't have to
Yes.
explain that. So imagine all these crabs in a barrel and they pulling all the crabs down. Ain't nobody getting out, right? Say I'm one of the crabs and I get out of the barrel, right? And since I'm walking around like, yo, this is beautiful, I'm free, and I start telling the other crabs like, yo, this is how you get out of the barrel, right?
Okay.
And crabs start jumping out of the barrel. At some point, the crabs that were pulling the crabs down
Mm-hmm.
are going to be alone in the barrel. See, there's something that women don't understand about themselves. It's something called assimilation.
Mm.
Black women are like robots, like on iRobot, right? Remember iRobot?
I do, but I want to know more about how Black women are like robots.
Okay, they have this need to assimilate. Okay, and it's the walking contradiction, like I said, about how a woman is say, "Oh, these men, what's wrong with these men? I'm a good woman. Why don't they want me?" And then at the same time, you feel like you're unworthy of love, right? So the
Mm.
same thing with the robotic mindset of assimilation. Women, unlike yourself, try to look like other women, try to dress like other women, try to do things to their bodies like other women in order to look like other women.
Right.
So they have this need to assimilate. It's like a herd of buffalo, herd of zebra. The more zebra it is, the less they will get hurt, right? Because that's why they
Mm.
move in herds. So women feel safe in numbers. So if all these women look the same, like for example, if all women were single mothers, right? If all
Mhm.
women were wig wearers, if all women did this, did that, we men would have no choice but to be with all of y'all because all of y'all are the same. So if all these women, because you don't wear wigs, right?
I
Have
used
you
to.
ever, have you ever, or how often have you had wig wearers say something negative about you wearing your own hair?
I've had that, or just yeah. I guess they're
Right.
wig
So
wearers or
those
women
are
who
the
don't have locks.
crabs in the barrel. So the dysfunctional women look to keep other women dysfunctional. So you can't say we're dysfunctional because the grading curve isn't there. You ain't never been in school
Yeah.
and you making straight A's and everybody up here looking at you like, yo, what is you doing? You messing it up for all of us. If all of us were dumb, all of us would not be dumb because the average would change.
That's funny.
But
Right.
you making us look dumb because you so smart. Why don't you be dumb like us so everybody would look smart?
I think the
So,
assimilation is
yeah.
translated as being weak or translated as being a pick me or
No,
it's
no, no,
translated.
no, 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 no. The dysfunctional women are the ones who are assimilating. They want to all look and act alike.
Those
They
are
all
the
want to be single
assimilators.
mothers. They all want to be overweight. They all want to wear wigs. They all want to act the way they want to act. They want to be argumentative. And if all women were all of these different things, we men will have no choice but to be with that woman. But here comes a woman wearing her natural hair. Here's a woman going to the gym all the time. Here's a woman getting therapy. Here's a woman, I said wearing a natural hair. Next thing you know, you have this group of women looking better and acting better and getting chosen by men versus these
Mhm.
women. So it's the crab in the barrel thing. So
Interesting.
next thing you know, when they see a man like me, and this is my answer to your question, when they see a man like me that is getting women out of the barrel, that is actually
Mhm.
helping women grow, the dysfunctional women are like, he hates women. Because I talk about single motherhood. Single
Right.
motherhood is dysfunctional. How can you say a man hates women when I say single motherhood is dysfunctional? Because they are single mothers. They
Right.
don't see themselves as dysfunctional because you got to look at it like this. If I was a drug dealer, if I was a gang member, would I think drug dealing and gang life was bad?
Probably not.
Because I'm it, right?
Yeah.
I'm part of the problem, but I don't
Hmm.
see that I'm part of the problem because I'm inside the problem.
Right.
So
Right.
when you're healed,
True.
And when you're doing the things the right way, you don't see, you actually do see that the problem is the problem. But if I am entrenched in the problem, you don't see the problem.
Okay, so that made a lot of sense. But let's go back to the two groups of women.
Yeah.
So, say for example, your subscribers, your
Yeah.
followers here, your black women here.
Mhm.
Why aren't they in the accountability? Why don't you say that they actually are sort of embracing accountability?
Okay, so the women that follow me, the women that support me, by the way, support me, ladies, fellas, by my card game. Um, they one actually watch my content, right? They don't see a clip and was like, ah, he's trash, he's crazy. What's wrong with him?
Right.
Right? That's the first thing. They actually watch me. And the second thing is the two groups of women is you got dysfunctional women and you have functional women. The dysfunctional women want to get out of the barrel. I mean, I'm sorry, the functional women want to get out of the barrel. So they are seeking insight from men. And one of the biggest issues with black women, because they were taught this, dysfunctional women don't trust black men. So
That's a fair
whenever
statement.
a black man comes up and is correcting y'all, not pleasing y'all, people pleasing, or pandering to y'all, or making excuses for y'all, guess what happens? He becomes the enemy. I can't correct you. Who, like y'all, they have this mammy mindset. Like, who are you to correct me? I'm a man. What are you talking about? But most families are matriarchal.
Right.
So most black families are full of women. So the leader of the black families were always women. So when they see a man like me that's a leader, they look at me like you something must be wrong with this situation because he's a narcissist. He's a misogynist. Why? Because he thinks he's a leader. Why I can't be a leader?
Right.
So I'm
Okay.
demonized simply because I have the balls to correct women. And who
However,
dare
so
correct a black woman? Go ahead.
yes, but so what you just said, I think is accurate to me. However, there are things circling around, like you saying women are like children or are children. And I think those things is why then people can further their point and say, look, this guy's toxic because he's comparing me as a black woman to a child.
How are
So
women not like children?
how are we like children? Here's one thing
Virtually
out.
every single part of your being is like a child
Okay. Would you say the same for black men?
to a certain degree.
Okay. If you could say the same thing for black men, because this is the point I want to make. This is how I
Wait,
see.
can I explain why?
Okay, go ahead,
First?
go ahead.
Okay, first, there's a psychological phenomenon called regression. Okay. When you regress, when you go into regression, when you're triggered, right? If I say something about your daddy, your mama, or something like that, right? You're like, right? You're triggered. The word regression, if you look up the definition, it says goes back to your childhood mindset, right? You have some in your brain called the amygdala, where all of your traumatic memories are, right? You have a prefrontal cortex, and you have two little parts of your brain called the amygdala, right? When you go into regression, your prefrontal cortex cuts off, and you literally start living your trauma all over again because I said something about your mama or I said something about your daddy, right? And now you go back to your 12-year-old point of reference, like, oh, I remember when I was first hearing these words, and you start operating as your 12-year-old self. Men do this and women do this, right? It's just simply a brain thing, right? But when women go back to their 12 or 9-year-old self, they actually had the freedom to fall on the floor, act like a child, a full child, cry, pout, whine, and they got what they want. With males, if you look at a 9-year-old boy, he doesn't cry. He doesn't fall on the floor. He doesn't pout. He doesn't whine to get what he wants. Because if he did all that, he gonna get slapped in the mouth. Because we were taught to be a big boy, grow up, be a man, be the man in the house, right? So all together, when we all are regressing, when we get triggered, we don't act like children, but y'all do. So we all go back to our childhood point when we get triggered. But women get triggered at like 30, at least 30 times a day, because women are viewed as prey to a certain degree. You know, you walk down the street, you got to
Oh,
worry
okay.
about
For
somebody
men.
attacking you, trafficking you, or something crazy, right? You walking here, you walking there. It's always this fear of somebody may get me, right? Right?
Yeah,
And that
that's fair.
is triggering, right? So throughout the day, in certain situations, it's a baby trigger. Like, who you think you talk? Well, you know, you feel the need to take up for yourself. Remember, we you said that
Right, right. That's what we
on
talked about.
right, and we had that conversation, and I was like, why do you feel this insatiable need to defend yourself? Because innately you are prey. You have to defend yourself. Men don't give a damn who gonna do something to me. I
Right.
don't care, right? So
But don't you
you so one last thing. So what you do is you go into regression over and over and over and over and over throughout the day. So you stay in your childlike regressive form like half of the day that you're awake. And that makes a woman a child. And then the last thing, and I want to see what you got to say. The last thing is women are taken care of. You get with a man, you expect him to pay your bills like a child. When you cry, you expect a man to be there for you and, you know, take care of the problem. And that's like a child. So I can keep going, but go ahead.
Interesting. Okay. So going back to what you said about black men, because I think where this gets triggering for black women when they hear it is that you're saying women are like children, but then you're not saying men. Now you just explained how it's different for, you know, for women and for men. But I don't necessarily know if that's like, sounds like what you were saying is, you know, as young black men, when things happen, instead of having a temper tantrum, you know, you kind of have to suck it up and, you know, be a man or whatever. I don't necessarily know if that's good or healthy, because
That's not
people
about it
need.
being good or bad. I'm just talking about the visceral reaction that men have when they're triggered versus the visceral reaction that women have when they're triggered. Women act a fool when they get triggered, like a child.
I mean, I can't say I haven't, but I think the conversation we were having before was, you know, isn't that human nature, at least from
Do
a,
what?
you know, hormonal woman standpoint? And you said no.
No, no, nobody is supposed to run around acting like a uncontrollable, batshit crazy little child. No, women have the freedom to do that because we don't say anything when you do it, and we come to your rescue when you do it. Don't nobody want to deal with that. That's not acceptable. But because we are who we are, just as a community, we just accept the crap that y'all give out because we want to be with y'all, want to have sex with y'all, we want to do all this other stuff with y'all. So you know,
Somebody, one of
but the
your
thing about
viewers,
it,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
put up with it. I personally don't put up with it. And that's when women are like, oh, you're a narcissist, because I don't put up with that shit.
Well, it sounded like, you know, even going into the topic for today about emotions sabotaging, you know, marriages and relationships, it did seem a bit dismissive when, you know, when we were having that conversation on the peep and we were talking about emotions, because it seems like the natural reaction is we all have emotions. Even one of your viewers said men be punching walls. So it's like, yeah, it's just because you're not emoting doesn't mean that you're not, you know, like men have emotions too, and they
Here's
express
the
it
thing about this
in.
though.
I'm
How
sorry.
often do men how often do men be punching walls though?
Well, sometimes they punch people. I mean,
How
not always walls.
often how often does the average man get so mad when he punches a wall? In your mind, just think of something.
I don't know. Maybe
I got mad and I punched the wall. How often do you think I'm
I
punching the
think it
wall?
happens more than we. I mean, let's 50%.
How
Make
many
up 50%.
per year? Per year, how many times do you think men are mad
Oh,
enough
okay.
to punch a
When we
wall or
say
punch
per
another wall?
year, okay, yeah, maybe it might happen. I don't know, 5 times a year. I don't know, 10 times a year. I don't know.
Not even one. And if the most dysfunctional man, he punches a wall probably 2 times a year.
What
But
about men
women,
who punch
but
women?
women,
Or you know what I mean? Like
well,
sometimes it can
that
happen
I get
in
what you're saying
another
on
way.
that. But how many men are running around punching women? See, I'm talking about the typical woman walking down the street. The typical woman walking down the street acts like a child when they get triggered. The typical man walking down the street is not punching walls and punching women.
Well, I can't speak for what people do behind closed doors because we
Come
really
on
don't know.
now, stop! Don't do that.
No,
Do you
I'm just saying.
every
I don't know. I know
the
I do
majority of
know.
men are punching walls and punching women and punching other people?
I'm not gonna say the majority of men, but I
I'm
just
talking
think
about the majority of people. The majority of women act like children when they get triggered. Do you think the average, the majority of men punch walls, punch women, or punch other men?
I think I'm not gonna say the
Yes
majority.
or no?
A lot of
Just
them.
say yes or no.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with a yes. And the reason why I'm gonna go with that, Aaron, is because of this. I have seen men throw cell. I mean, are we talking about throwing a
You
cell
have
phone?
seen men do something, so that means the majority of men do that. We're
I
gonna
think
get back to the Jada Pinkett
all right.
the book in a minute, but are
I
you
think
telling me that the typical man that you see every day is running around punching people and punching
okay, I'm
walls?
not gonna say punching people. Is that man when he gets upset throwing things? Is that man when he gets upset
Who's
cursing
doing
people out?
something? See,
Huh?
now you moving the goalposts. You said punching walls and punching
Okay.
people.
That the punching walls was like a it wasn't a
Punching
literal, it
people.
was
You said this, not me. Somebody in the comments, and you said this.
just
I'm going by what you just said.
okay.
Stop, like stop. And this is another thing, which is not saying anything about you, but it's just the nature of women, the need to be right. You know, the average woman, I mean, the typical man ain't running around punching walls and punching people, but you said yes. Why? Because the insatiable need to be right.
Okay. Well, here's what I'll say about that, Aaron. I will agree with now for me, I have to work on the need to control. And I've talked about this on my channel. That was
Mhm.
one of my biggest barriers is wanting to control
Why
things.
you have it? Why is it there?
Why do I have it? Why is this that? Why is it? Well, I'm also part of the demographic that you mentioned of being a single mom for 9 years. So that I think that need to control came out of having to kind of do everything for 9 years.
Mm.
So I think you're right. I think there's some truth to it. But I guess the point I'm just trying to make is that men have emotions too. In
No, no,
my
no, no, no,
opinion,
no. We're not gonna do that. That's what aboutism. We're not gonna do that. It's always, and this is another thing that children do.
I know what you was gonna say.
This is what children do. If you
Right.
got two siblings and one sibling did something crazy, and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" What's the first thing the little child is gonna
Well,
say?
what did the other person? Yeah,
Well,
my
what
sister
you
did
did
that.
it too.
Yeah. I know. Believe me, I get called out on some of this stuff at home, right? So
So
I get
how do you look at me? And when I say women are children, you look at me like I'm crazy. You just proved my point.
well because I guess I wanted you to kind of I mean I think I probably had some of my viewers watching. That actually came up in my community and I just wanted to have a conversation with you about it to really understand where does that come from. So that was
Okay.
really that was really I
Okay.
can't say I 100% agree with it, but I can there's to a point I don't probably know enough about psychology to be able to agree or disagree,
Go
but
to the book. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a neurologist. I just read a whole bunch of books. And part of the reason why I read a whole bunch of books is because I coach women, and we go through all these books. We go through two books at a time. One book Monday, or we're doing Tuesday now because of football season. One book Tuesday and another book Wednesday. So I'm reading a chapter. I'm reading two different chapters of two different books every week. So one of the books that would help your people out and anybody watching and you included is to read the book called Growing Yourself Back Up. It's a picture of a child in an adult outfit. Growing Yourself Back Up. I don't know who it's by. I can look it up. But that is a book about regression. And that is one of the many books that I've learned about regression. And because none of the stuff I talk about comes from me. I'm just a person. I'm just
So
a
there,
conduit. I
so
read
you
all
do
these
have
books.
sources. There are other people, other books where they talk about women specifically being like children. Or
Yes.
that? Oh, okay. So that's not
Yes.
just
Plenty
your
of books. Yes.
rendition.
One book,
Interesting.
because I can always cite my sources. One book is You're Not Crazy, It's Your Mother. They offer something called narcissistic bingo, where I actually play it myself, where you can play narcissistic bingo in your head. So when you're talking to a woman, not just your mother, because your mother is a woman, right? And it talks about how childish women act. And then you put this child over you as a parent, and now you got to deal with a child being childish, raising you, calling you a child, and your
Yeah.
parent is the whole damn child. And it's actually at least 30 different narcissistic bingo signs. And I'm not going to talk about them, but it's so many signs, and they're all specifically about women. And a woman wrote the book. A psychologist woman wrote the book. You're Not Crazy, It's Your Mother, and look up Growing Yourself Back Up. It talks about regression. I don't get this stuff out of nowhere. I read books.
So then for the women who have learned how to sort of reel that in a little bit, this is something I admit I had to work on, controlling
Mhm.
my emotions. I realized the source of a lot of arguments. I'm not going to say it was me, but my emotions didn't help. And so figuring out, okay, how can I control my emotions so that I'm not triggering this other person? Women who make an attempt to do that or who actually do that, would you still say that that woman is childish or childlike? Even if, you know what I mean? Because
Even if what though? What is she doing or not doing?
yeah, well, what I'm saying is there are women who I agree sort of give
Women have the
into.
freedom to act like a child, and they take advantage of that freedom, because who wouldn't? I said this before. I don't get mad at women for having a baby with a rich man and putting them on child support and getting $60,000 a month. All right. Because if I was a woman, I'd do the same thing. Okay. I don't get mad at female nature. We just don't have the ability to do the things that y'all are able to do. If I can have a baby, I'm going to have a baby by a rich person, and they're going to pay up all my rent, and I ain't going to have no job. Like 50 Cent, first baby mama.
Okay.
So I don't get mad at what women are doing, because they have the ability to do that. So if you can act like a child and garner a lot of attention, and the big bad person that did something to you that probably didn't even do nothing to you goes to jail or gets out of your face or gets out the house because you want him to move out instead of you to move out, and all you got to do is start crying, and you get him to do it, I'll do the same thing if I had the ability.
Mm.
I don't get mad at y'all. Y'all have the freedom to act like pure children and ruin people's lives.
But it sounds like what you said is you won't put up, you won't tolerate it. Like you'll be gone.
Well, I have a certain sense of discernment because I coach women. I see certain nuances that other men don't see. And that's the reason why I am Mr. Let Go. And I have this huge platform because I have that ability, because I've been coaching women for the last 7 years.
So, and this is, and I'm sorry because I know we're probably not talking.
'Cause I teach women how to set boundaries, but I also teach men how to recognize childhood, childlike operations from women, because women are manipulative, just like men are manipulative. You know what I'm saying? So I teach women how to recognize things. I teach men how to recognize things. But go ahead.
Crap, I lost my train of thought. Dang it, and it was really important. Hold on. Let me look at my
Okay.
notes.
So why you just let me know when you remember it. But all together, let's go back to Jada Pinkett. I read Jada Pinkett's book, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do today's show is because I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted to give Jada Pinkett some grace and let everybody watching know why exactly she was so hung up on Tupac. Every time you turn around, Jada Pinkett wants to talk about some freaking Tupac, right? And everybody's like, yo, they must have had sex, they must have did this, they must have did that. Well, remember I talked about how she lost her father, her biological father, and then her mother got remarried and she had a great man and turned around and became a great father to little Jada Pinkett. But mom messed it up because she was on heroin and he found out and he got up out of there and he promised to her that I will always be your father, even though I'm not your biological father. But his new wife was like, oh, no, you ain't. That ain't none of your child. How I look like you over here, like around your ex-wife. I mean, your ex-wife, and that ain't even your child. You ain't got no reason to be over there. So in order to keep peace in his house with his new family, he had to just disappear out of Jada Pinkett's life. And he never even told her anything else. He just disappeared. So the last words she heard was, I will always be there for you. You're still my daughter, and I will always be your father, and never came back. So that's two, right? So I left the stream before I told them the third father that she lost. Does anybody want to guess who her third father who abandoned her was? Who was a third man that abandoned her? That was her father. Does anybody want to guess? Who was the third man that abandoned Jada Pinkett? Exactly, Bird, Keisha. Tupac. Tupac was her father. Everybody wants to talk about how she was sleeping with Tupac. No. Tupac was her father. She said it herself. I'm not going to play the video because that video got me copyrighted on my last video. So I would love to play it, but I ain't playing it because I had to deal with a whole bunch of copyright issues. I had to go in there and find it and pull it out. But she literally said on an interview that Tupac was a father she never had. And when Tupac died, it literally ripped her heart apart, but she felt like he left her. Because guess what? He did. He had to be doing all this crazy mess. Did you know Tupac was a friggin' ballerina?
Oh, wow. I know he was a dancer, but I know he was a ballerina.
Did you know Tupac was this soft-hearted, almost feminine little person? Did you know that Jada was a gangster when Tupac and Jada was around each other? Did you know that Tupac had to be bought clothes by drug dealer Jada Pinkett? Did you know that?
Wow. This is all in her book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jada Pinkett was the drug dealer. Okay. Tupac used to come around her with the same clothes on every day. He had 2 sets of pants and like 3 shirts. She bought his whole wardrobe.
That's crazy.
So this man, who was this soft-spoken, girly-like dude, that was a method actor, because they both they wanted to be big-time actors, right? After he played the character Bishop in Juice, he stayed with that character and wowed out for the rest of his young life. That wasn't him. So when she said he left me, it was intentional. He left her because he didn't want to stop wilding out. She knew he wasn't that person. She looked Tupac in his eyes, was like, yo, what is you doing? This ain't the Tupac that I know. Why are you wilding out? Why are you acting like a gangster? I was a freaking gangster. I fed you. I clothed you like I was your parent. Now I need you to be my parent. And he protected her and loved her and held her up. Like when they started acting, did you know Tupac Was the specific reason why she became a movie star and not just a TV star on Different World? He set that up for her.
Mm.
He played her father. He was like, I'm proud of you. And then when she got out of line and started getting her in her ego bag, he was like, sit your ass down, square. You're square. Don't forget that. So he humbled her also. So he lifted her up when she needed it, and he grounded her when she needed it. He
Mhm.
played her father.
Wow.
And he, like I said, was not this gangster. He kept going on with his gangster role. And she was like, yo, what is you doing? You want to get yourself killed, and this isn't even you. You're playing a character. So when she said he left me, it was intentional. He went off the rails for no reason, and he left her. So
Mm.
in her mind, in her heart, he abandoned her
Abandon her.
on purpose, just like the last two fathers did. I'm out of here.
Wow.
All three men said, I'm out of here without saying, I'm out of here on purpose. They made choices to leave this young girl's life.
That is so interesting. Because a lot of listened to other commentary, do you think that Jada is tarnishing Tupac's legacy, tarnishing, people's legacy now that she's coming out with her own truth?
Yes, but she doesn't care because it's her story. Just
Yeah.
like a child, do children really care about what other people are going through when they want what they want? When you walk in through the store, a toy store, or the mall, and your child is like, I want this toy, and mom says, we can't afford it. Do you think that child really gives a damn about whether her mom can afford it or not?
Oh.
Nope.
Well, I heard what you said at the beginning. You said Jada said something to the effect of she's going to tell her story no matter who's in it. So
But at the
she,
end of the day, I'm just answering your question because we all have stories to tell. We don't get
right,
on platforms, run around telling it. And the way she marketed this, oh, did you
right,
know I was a drug dealer? Hey, did you know?
yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do all this.
Because I'm
You
really,
could have just came out with the book and was like, here's the book. No, she getting on interview at the interview at the interview at the interview, and not including red table talk, ruining her husband's life. So no, she didn't have to do all this. She's toxic. And when toxic people feel this toxicity, they spew it over everybody else. Toxic people make other people toxic, like vampires, werewolves, and zombies.
see, and that's a part of this whole thing too that I think is a little weird is that this whole idea of healing publicly. Like I'm so intrigued in that because it's like, why did she even have? Like, I understand, people write books and it's healing for them, but this,
Not healing for
like,
them. It's
I'm
healing for
sorry.
her. It's not healing for them. She's not trying to heal nobody.
Well,
Do you
that's
know
right. That's what I
how?
meant. It's healing for the person who's writing the book.
Yeah. Do you know how manipulative vampires are? In order to, you know how they say a vampire can't get you in your house unless you invite them in your house.
Mm. I
Have
haven't
you ever
heard
heard of
that,
that?
but it makes
You
sense.
never heard of the whole vampire stuff? Like the
I'm like, don't know anything about all that stuff.
yeah. So
Zombies,
what a
vampires.
vampire does, a vampire taps on your window while you're sleeping, right? And appears like a little girl, or appears to be like this handsome man, appears to be your mother that died. And it's just like, please, please, please help me. Be like, am I dreaming? But
Hmm.
who's at my window? Please, please help me, help me, help me.
Oh,
They're
wow.
out to get me. And what you do is open a window. And next thing you know, you have to let the vampire in. So
Hmm.
Jada Pinkett is an emotional vampire. She
Hmm.
comes in with this manipulative spirit and says, I'm here to help you. She did the same thing August Alsina. August
Mm.
Alsina was a problematic, depressed, suicidal drug addict. Let me help you. Next thing you know, she, sucking them off.
Yeah. So it seems like that her process of revealing this for her to heal seems a bit narcissistic, because it's like it's at
A
the expense.
vampire. A
Yeah,
vampire has to kill somebody to suck their blood.
it is absolutely at the expense of all of us being
At the expense of
traumatized. Like what you just said about Tupac, I'm kind of traumatized by that because I don't want to see Tupac like that. Like I want to believe that Tupac was who he presented himself as. He's one of my favorite all-time
you
rappers.
are hilarious.
No,
Hold on.
I'm dead serious.
You
So
are absolutely hilarious.
why are you saying I'm hilarious? No, I'm dead serious. I mean, that's traumatizing. And so I question, it's kind of like people who go on, like, say, social media, Facebook, and make like this very vulnerable post, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, you're saying all this and it's on social media. I can't help, so you kind of put the audience in a very compromising situation, because it's like, yes, I know you did that to heal and you might feel better, but now I don't know what to say to you other than like your post. So yeah, I think it's a little bizarre that she's choosing to heal so publicly, and both of them. I mean, both Will but more so Jada, because Will is quiet right now, and yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna share my screen real quick because I want to show you something. Why I can't show me? What the hell? Hold on a second. Screen sharing was canceled. Where is it? Oh, because it was on. Oh, okay, gotcha. I don't want to do that. Hold on. I'm gonna show you how feminine Tupac was.
Oh goodness, I'm not ready for this. Well,
Tupac was a whole girl.
it just brings new meaning to, like, I mean, I don't want to think of him as like an industry plant, right? Like they're saying about Sukiana, but just this
No, no,
idea.
no, 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 no. He's an amazing actor. He was an actor. He played. He. Tupac became Bishop from Juice. So here we go right here. So watch this. Tupac was a method actor. Tupac was a whole girl. Turn it down. So look at his mannerisms. Can you see it?
I can see it.
So let's listen
And
what
I
he says.
deplore that. My mother is just told. I grew up. My mother raised me,
My mother
so
raised me.
I have this much respect for women, and I fight often because of that. And it gives me a lot of friends. I mean, I get a lot of friends because, but I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women.
Look at his hand movement.
Oh my
Also
goodness.
women. But then, like I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra
He swallows like a girl.
nice, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And
Watch what happens.
she told me I was too nice.
Uh-oh. She told me I was too nice. Who talks like that?
I would assume that this was him acting right here. Like,
This is him. So listen to what happens when she says, "You're too nice." Watch this.
I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't work because I was too nice. That was the ultimate stab in the back. So I went through a week of just going, forget it. I'm just gonna be like them.
I don't want to play too much because I don't want no problems with copyright. But Tupac was a whole girl.
wow. Wow. I have not seen that.
I don't want to say this because this is not true, but it was almost like Tupac was Jada Pinkett's gay bestie.
Oh my goodness. I have
But
to wire my whole brain around that statement.
they got into method acting, and when he got into the role of bishop, he was like, this is who I'm going to stay, and he stayed bishop.
Wow.
Tupac was bishop, but actual Tupac Shakur was a little feminine, little method acting dude that she said I was too nice. Just
Wow.
you see how his mannerisms, I was too nice. But yeah.
So interesting. Well, that explains, maybe a lot of the, I mean, he was a poet. He was a lot of things that surprised people, but
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense when you see that side of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Share this video. Share this video. Share this video. We about to go deep into Tupac and Jada. So a little bit from the book, y'all. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hold on, where we at? Where we at? All right, let's go to the bottom. So Jada, let's stay with how Tupac was the love of her life and why I want to justify why Tupac was the love of her life. Jada dealt with so much childhood trauma. Imagine your mother being a habitual drug addict, right? And then you meet this guy who has a mother that is also a habitual drug addict. Tupac's mom was a drug addict, just like her mom was a drug addict, right? And next thing you know, you're like, wow, that's crazy. I'm trauma bonding, right? You have the same trauma that I do. Well, what about your dad? Oh, yeah. Did your dad leave you? Yeah, my dad left me. My dad looked at me and said, I don't want to be your daddy no more. Wow, my daddy did the same thing to me. Trauma bond, right? And then boom, next thing you know, they became friends. And all together, Jada was the actual drug dealer. And I have a video to show you when she said it. Jada was in the streets and listening to the video. In the book, I believe it.
That's very interesting that I've never really said before is that when I first met Pac, when we first met, I was a drug dealer. Something.
Now listen to what Tupac was doing, y'all. Hit a like button, y'all.
Very bad happened to me. As I was coming out of the life, he was going more into the life. There was a point in which we met, and then we're going our separate ways. God, one day you're gonna do for Pac what you did for me, because you saved me, and that just never happened for him.
Wow, dang. I never even saw, this is all, you know way more about this than me, but I never saw Jada like that, like a drug dealer and harder than Pac. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So for anybody mad at me for talking about Tupac, don't be mad at me. Jada said all this.
You have the receipts.
This came from Jada Pinkett Smith's book, and y'all want to get mad at me? Go get mad at Jada. All right, get up under Jada's comments, talk a mess. Jada said this. I read Jada's book, and y'all mad at me. I'm just a book reader. I don't know nothing. All right, I read all kinds of books left and right, books on neurology, books on Jada Pinkett, books on psychology, books on childhood trauma. I'm just a book reader, and y'all run around being mad at me. How about y'all read a book for a change and talk about what's in the book? Y'all mad at me. The book said all of this. Okay? The book said Tupac was only had 2 pairs of pants. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at me. She says she was a gangster that's running after people with switchblades and all this stuff. She said that.
Here's a question. Can we believe everything in the book? Do you think it's believable?
Well, I believe it. And the reason why I believe it is because she was from Baltimore. Not many women from Baltimore, one, survive Baltimore, and 2, leave Baltimore without a little dirt on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you have a drug addict mother, right? Your dad leaves you. Y'all are living in your grandparents' attic. Something is going to come out of you. And I come from the hood. All right. And the first thing you see is an opportunity to sell drugs. So she knew somebody that was trapping and was like, yo, what's up? What's up? What? I want to get out here. Man, go on somewhere. No, I'm serious. My mom's on drugs. Like, we about to be homeless. I got to do something. We all, well, I ain't gonna say all, but a lot of us, we sold drugs when we were young because we didn't know how else to make money. I sold drugs to buy my own school clothes. She sold drugs by her own school clothes and Tupac's school clothes.
Wow.
So you see, people look at drug dealing as like you being a rapper or something.
Mm-hmm.
Selling drugs is a terrible, disgusting, grimy thing. The things that you see, the things that you witness, it wasn't fun. Now, some of the things, you know, I had a nice car, I had the rims, I had the speakers in the trunk, I had the beat, you know, beat meaning the speakers in the trunk, riding down the street, boom, 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 all that stuff. So some people don't know I had the beat mean I had all that. All right. I had the Jordans, I had the Hirachis as a child. I was able to start my family at the age of like 20 and put my kids in a big ass house as a child. You know what I'm saying? So my homeboy was a kingpin who actually ended up getting killed. He got a hood assassinated. So yeah, a lot of things I've seen, it made me who I am, but it wasn't glamorous. It was terrible. I sold drugs because we didn't. My mom was getting her butt whooped like other people. Mom was getting their butt whooped by dudes and stuff. You know, I at the age of 13, I literally had to start fighting my mama's boyfriends to stop them from fighting my mama. So it was a lot of trauma to it, you know. So yeah, Brian says little kids sell drugs. It's nothing crazy or glamorous or amazing about selling drugs. Anybody can sell drugs.
Well, now I'm starting to going back to when we were on the Lapeef panel. Now I'm starting to
Mhm.
put things together about the question around why Will chose her is making it more interesting because it's like if that was her background, I wonder was it what did he choose her off of? Was it just her looks, her connections? Like not that he needed her connections, but I don't understand why.
She was bigger than him. So real quick, Brian says selling drugs don't make you no gangster. Right? I ain't no gangster. I just sold drugs. I ain't never. You ain't never gonna hear me and never have heard me on no live stream saying I was some gangster or nothing. No,
Right.
I was somewhat of a lame trying to figure my life out, trying to get out of this hood, and because I don't want to be here, and I knew enough people where I sold drugs, and I was hard enough to hold my own out there trapping, you know. But all together, because I ain't never get robbed, but I wasn't no gangster. I just knew how to operate. I knew how to pivot. You feel me?
Right.
But the only people that I was scaring was my mama's boyfriends. In my mind, that was the only entity that I was worried about. My mom's boyfriends going upside my mama's head. And I used to get the fighting with grown men at the age of 13. I was getting in fights with weapons, of course, with 40-year-old men. So I wasn't running around fighting young boys and having gang wars. And no, I was fighting grown men. I was not a gangster. I was fending for my mom's life. My mindset was on my mama. It wasn't on trying to be some gangster. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about girls. I wasn't thinking about nothing. I was trying to save my mom's life from these dudes. I ain't no gangster.
I agree with that. I mean, I know people who sold drugs who just
I
did it off
sold
the
drugs,
strength
my
of
school clothes, and
one.
I did violent
Yeah,
things in order to protect my mama. That was it.
people sometimes just want to provide for their families, and that's just the
That's it.
easiest, quickest way to do it. Yeah, not
Yep.
condoning it, but it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. So going back to with Tupac. Tupac gave her, so look at Jada, Tupac, and Will. You said why did Will pick her? Right? I'm still going through the book. I'm on chapter 10 now. I didn't read the entire book. But so far it looks like Will was attracted to her because I read certain parts where Will was trying to shoot her shot, right? So I want y'all to think about this. This is what's crazy. One, Jada was this drug dealer person, right? She was grimy. She's from Baltimore, not Baltimore with a D. The disgusting side of Baltimore. If anybody watched The Wire, Jada was a part of The Wire before The Wire was a Wire, okay? And So if y'all remember Snoop from The Wire, Jada was cousin to Snoop. Wasn't that much of a gangster like Snoop was, but if y'all seen a scrawny little female that made it, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, made it through the cracks or whatever, like Snoop did, kind of like how Jada did. Sometimes you will see a small girl that acts like a boy, and dudes would take her up under their wing. Was like, hey, you ain't nobody gonna mess with you. Because Snoop was taught how to be a gangster. Did you see The Wire?
I didn't watch
Oh
The
my
Wire.
God.
I'm like the worst TV per. I don't even watch
Never mind,
it.
never mind. Anybody in the chat, you know Snoop was a scrawny little girl that would easily get beat up, but she was equipped with a crew and the ability to know how to shoot. But she would have got beat up because she was a little girl. She was like a little 17-year-old girl. So I can easily see dudes in the hood see Jada and was like, yo, you protected by us now. If anybody messes with you, let us know. So that's kind of like how Jada grew up. So Jada grew up like Snoop grew up in The Wire, right? And she gets with, well, she starts being this big actress, Set It Off, Menace to Society, you feel me? And here comes Goofball Will, who was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a TV show. And I don't know about now, but back in the day, being a TV show actor is here, but being a movie actor is up here.
Right.
She was in movies. He didn't do Men in Black yet. He was just Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? And he was trying to holler at her. She was like, no, I'm good. So his way of shooting his shot at Jada Pinkett was, he was like, yo, I would love for you to play my girlfriend on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'll hook you up. And she was like, that's kind of funny. You'll hook me up. I'm doing movies, sir. You'll hook me up. Hilarious.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm not into, I did a different world a year ago. I've graduated from like TV shows. Sorry, sir. You're nice. You're handsome. You're this. You're nostalgic or whatever. But I'm a little up here and you're a little down here. Get your weight up, sir. You feel me? He didn't do Independence Day yet. You know what I'm saying? This was like in 1994 or something like that. 1993, when Tupac first got shot. Tupac got shot 2 different times. When Tupac first got shot, she was in a relationship with another dude named Lance. And this was when Will Smith was trying to get with Jada, and she was like, nah, bro, get out my face. Right. So all together, later on, she ended up getting with why I can't keep Will Smith. I keep forgetting Will Smith's name. It's crazy. But she got with Will Smith after he got his weight up.
That's interesting.
He got his weight up because she was in LA acting. He got his weight up. Then she got with him. But guess what? She wasn't feeling him then, and she wasn't feeling him when she actually got with him. But he was Mr. Men in Black, the most famous man on the planet at the time. So it's just like, all right, I go out with you, cornball. All right, okay. I'm Miss Drug Dealer Snoop from The Wire, but I'll hang out with you. But guess what? Jada got sick of everybody, according to her book. She got sick of everybody calling her this scraggly, unpolished little chick from Baltimore.
Okay.
Mr. Men in Black is over here. 1994. I didn't say 1996. Okay. So she was probably like, because I didn't get this far yet. She was probably like, all right, Mr. Men in Black may polish me up a little bit.
I can see that. But okay, so but what does she do for him? I mean, does she give him more street credibility?
Nope. Tupac. I mean, I'm sorry. What Jada did for Will Smith was, one, she was a crush. You know, he had a crush on her, right? And you got to remember, before he was here, she was up here. She did Jason's Lyric. She did about 4 other movies along with Menace to Society. So she started being a huge sex symbol.
Right. She was.
So you're a male sex symbol. I want to get with a female sex symbol. Because one thing about Will Smith, I'm going to show you something. Will Smith was hiding a lot of secrets about him also.
Oh,
and Jada Pinkett was the perfect person, another actress, that would help him hide his lies. Check this out.
Was broken,
doesn't sound
and
good.
I learned how to, the fact that I was broken, and I learned how to look fixed to the world.
Right.
Will Smith is a character.
Yeah.
Dang.
I got all the receipts.
So, okay, that is interesting. He's a character because there's
Just
okay.
like,
So
just
who's
like,
just like Jada or Tupac?
Just like Tupac.
Tupac, yeah. So then who is the real Will? Like, we kind of know who the real Tupac is because you pulled up some receipts. But do we have receipts on who this real Will Smith is?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you who the real Will Smith is. Hold on one second. I got all the receipts.
Yeah, I don't know where you do some extensive research.
This is what I do for a living. I do research on people, places, and things. Check this out. This is who Will actually is. This is the real Will. You see the look on his face?
He looks pathetic.
The pathetic.
There was a decline from there.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and at the end of the day.
This is Will. This is who Will actually is.
No, is this when he gave, what is this from? Where is this from?
This is Will Smith. This is the real Will Smith.
When Og first came around, he was really sick, outpouring for him from.
You see him with his little ugly sweater on?
Yeah, he looks very distraught. Like you can see it in his eyes. Yeah. He's, like
our family was initially about his health.
Yeah.
And you see her? Yeah. And I fucked him.
Yeah, that whole.
And I'm still fucking him.
There was I was watching the talk. It was a clip of what's her name, Cheryl Underwood, and she had gotten she was arguing with I don't know his name. It was a black man on the panel. The black man was saying how Jada cheated on Will. Cheryl Underwood's argument was, how do you know they didn't have an agreement? How do you know Will himself wasn't also stepping out? And so they were just going back and forth. But I'm curious to know what your viewers think. I'm like, can you cheat on somebody if you have an agreement that you're separated? But the guy was angry. He was like, no, she cheated. It's adultery.
Well, let me add to this. You got to understand who Jada Pinkett is. Jada Pinkett said right here, like I said, I don't want to play too much of it because I don't want no copyright smoke. But Jada Pinkett did not want any of this. Okay. So right here, Jada Pinkett says it.
Go of the picture.
Yeah.
To have to let go of the dream was devastating.
I'd been trying to live up to an expectation for Will.
Yeah. And you were trapped in a life that you didn't build,
that you didn't want. And that I didn't want, but that
Think about that. That I didn't want.
I had to come to the understanding that I allowed myself to have. Not wanting to rock the boat. I had
Not wanting to rock the boat.
kids.
Didn't want to have kids. Didn't want to have kids. You have sex, you get pregnant. And then once you get married, you're going to have more sex and get pregnant again. What you going to do? Get your tube tied? Tell them to wear rubber?
You know, and just whatnot, you know, because he's a force to be reckoned with. It's just a lot of stuff you let slide and go past that angers you, and you get resentment.
Absolutely.
You know, but you don't change it because you're scared.
You heard that last word? What's the last word she said?
You're scared. Scared.
Why? Because she feels unworthy of love.
And my question to her is, what kind of life does she want? What kind of life? I mean, she is, to me, of course, to someone like me.
I can tell you what kind of life she wants. It's in my notes.
I would love to know. Does she want the hood life? She wants to stay in the hood and be with guys like Tupac?
So, going back to the book, because I read Jada Pinkett's book. Now, after appearing in other movies like Set It Off and Jason's Lyric, Jada became depressed and wanted to end it all. Why do you think she became depressed and wanted to end it all after becoming this huge movie star? What do you think?
Oh man, maybe for the same reason that what's her name? I think it's Chesley Crest, the one who beautiful. She wasn't an actress, but like journalist who jumped off of a building. This was about a year ago or so. Yeah, I mean, I guess to the point that you just made, she signed up for something and wasn't happy, and the only way for her to get out of it was to end it.
Don't say the word. Don't say the word, please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So after appearing in movies like Set It Off and Jason's Lyric and Menace to Society, Jada became depressed and wanted to end it all. Why? Because when life begins to get better and amazing for a traumatized person, this is exactly where their anxiety lands. Remember, I talked about how women have this insatiable need to be right, and they have this insatiable need to they have this addiction to certainty.
Sure.
When you get with a good man, or when you become this great actress, you no longer have control because you're in uncharted territory. What's going to happen next? What if they don't like me in this next movie? What if this happens? What if I get canceled? What if this happens? What if that happens? So you start having this engulfing feeling of, what if I lose all of this? Because once you become loved, you could become hated. Just like Derek Jackson as an example, just one example. He went from being loved and being hated in 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So, because when life begins to get better for a traumatized person, this is exactly when their anxiety and childhood trauma starts to cause problems. See, safety and security to a traumatized person promotes anxiety, because in their minds, they're thinking, I'm up here. At some point, I'm going to fall. At some point, this person's going to leave me. See, women get with good men and they don't feel worthy of that good man. This woman kept being told in her face that your butt is too little, your boobs are too little, you're too short, you're too skinny, you're too hood, you're too grimy. They told her she was unworthy of all of these acting gigs she was getting. But because she knew Tupac, but because she knew a couple other people, she kept getting pushed in people's face. At some point, I'm going to be on my own. I ain't going to have people helping me get all these roles. Then I'm going to end up being this little scrawny little chick from Baltimore. They keep telling me I'm not worthy. So what do I think is going to happen? I'm going to lose all of this. So anxiety starts having you thinking like, what if something goes wrong? What if they decide I'm no longer worthy of their time? What if this man finds a better woman with a bigger butt or bigger this or big better that, and he's going to abandon me? Just like who?
Tupac and her father, and
It's like her father's 3.
Yeah.
And this was crazy. She was with what? Will Smith. She was with Will Smith when Tupac died. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Your answer, one of the another way to answer your question, why did she get with Will Smith, right? And you asked another question, who would she have been if she didn't get with Will Smith? So sorry for not answering that. I went down a rabbit hole. Because I was going to my where is it? So this is what she actually wanted. I found it. She was so broken where she started looking. Oh, that's not it. Okay. Okay. Damn, I didn't put it together again. Okay. The reason why, okay, what she would have ended up being if she would have not met Will Smith. She bought a farm in Baltimore. As an actress, she bought a farm on Baltimore. Guess what she wanted to do?
Interesting.
She wanted to rescue dogs and cats.
Wow.
She literally said she wanted to have a farm and she was going to run around rescuing animals. Why?
That's what she wanted.
Because that's what she wanted. And next thing you know, before she can even move in that house, you know how rich people buy a house and don't move in it? Because she was in LA, right? She bought the house and it needed a lot of renovations, right? So she was waiting for the house to be renovated, and it took about a whole bunch of time for it to be renovated. So she's in LA, and at some point, Mr. Men in Black was like, yo, I want to rescue you. And she felt like the cat. You ever seen a cat in one of these rescue videos? The cat is all cold and is wet, is behind a garbage can. You try to reach for the cat. What does the cat do?
Run.
Because it wants to be rescued, but it doesn't want to be rescued.
Right.
See, let me tell you something about the psychology of a stray cat. A stray cat has all the freedom in the world to run around and do stray cat stuff, right? It doesn't follow any rules. It gets to the point where it's okay with eating food out of the garbage can because it becomes normal. It's just their normal life, right? But when somebody comes in and says, hey, little stray cat, I want to pick you up and take you home with me. I'm going to give you warm food. I'm going to pet you. I'm going to give you baths. You're going to smell good, all this other stuff, right? But then the stray cat is going to be like, damn, that sounds great. But for the rest of my life, I'm going to be in this 4-cornered room. And I'm going to get abandoned by you literally every day when you go to work. And I'm stuck in this box. I don't know if I want to live like this. I think I would rather be a stray cat.
Wow.
Because what kind of life is this, living in this box, a person's apartment? Usually people with cats, they don't have houses, they have little apartments, right? Why am I going to want to live in this little apartment when I can just live my life? Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's traumatizing. Yeah, I got to eat out of garbage cans. But damn, at least I could do what I want to do.
So I see what you're saying. So ultimately then she, and I don't know this, but it sounds like she initiated the separation so that she could be free. And you think about somebody like August Alsina, the fact that was
Like
the
we
guy
can't.
that, right. It's like, of all the men that you could have been with, if you guys were having this like open relationship, why him? That's
Because she needed somebody like Tupac. Remember,
right.
she started off buying Tupac clothes.
Yeah.
So she finds August Alsina. She started buying him clothes. Let him live in her house.
Yeah. That's interesting.
At some point, Tupac didn't have nowhere to stay. And she had to let Tupac live with her. All in the book. Don't get mad at me.
So ultimately, my big question here is, why did Will sign up? Why did Will continue to stay in something like this? Like,
Because
I
he
don't
was
understand.
he was a Jada Pinkett. He's a male Jada Pinkett.
What, an opportunist?
No, a traumatized person that needs to save stray cats. It's two stray cats trying to save each other.
That's interesting.
He saved not only her, but he saved her mama from the streets. Her mama was a drug addict. He saved the whole family.
So they deserve each other. They, I mean,
Yes.
essentially, you know.
He thinks he can save her, and she thinks she can save August Alsina. She thought she could save Tupac. And this is the reason why I have done so much research on Jada and Tupac. I mean, Jada, Tupac, and Will Smith, because I'm able to see the psychology behind every move that they made. I know why they separated. I know why they stayed together. They didn't have a prenup.
Interesting.
Do you know how much? Because you got to understand, Jada said it right here. Jada could take all his money and go, but guess what? She don't want it.
But that I had to come to the understanding that I allowed myself to have.
Devastating.
I'd been trying to live up to an expectation for Will.
Yeah.
She a hood rat. She don't care about this stuff. She don't want to divorce him and take all his money. But why not take all his money if you divorce Will? So Will is like, hey, let's just stay together, because in his mind, he's like, you're gonna take all my shit.
But do you think he really cares about that? Because he can get more. I mean, he's A-list
More
actor.
from where?
More movies.
More movies? Like what movie?
I don't know. He's an
Name a
A-list
movie
actor.
Will has been in.
Say it again. Name a movie.
Name a movie Will has been in. What are you talking about? A movie?
A ton of movies. Like
Name
Muhammad
a movie.
Ali and Muhammad Ali.
In the last 5 years.
Okay. I feel like I just saw something, but yeah, I'm the wrong person to be.
What are you talking about?
Will
Will
have to help me
Smith?
on that one.
Don't nobody want Will Smith in no damn movie? To do what?
Didn't he just do a movie not long ago?
No.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
He did a movie, Emancipation, but that was some crap. He played a slave. That wasn't no real movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was Emancipation.
We talking about Will Smith movies.
Before that, hold on, I'm about to look. But okay, so but how is he making his money now?
Independence Day, star of a movie. That man can't
Okay.
star in no movie and make no money.
So then, how is he making his money?
He ain't.
You think Will Smith is not making any money?
He has $300 million. He don't need to make no money. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I thought Will Smith was, I thought he was booked and busy doing something.
No,
he was just him. Okay,
no.
he was in the audience at the the Oscars where he slapped Chris Rock. Why was he even there then?
Because he's Will Smith.
Okay.
Look, the thing about it is, he was getting a Grammy for King Richard. I'm saying after he slapped Chris Rock, don't nobody care about Will Smith.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking of. He wasn't. Yeah. I saw that movie with about the Serena sisters or about the Williams sisters. So
what I'm saying is, if she takes half of his stuff and probably has to pay her because Anthony Anderson had to pay his estranged wife $60,000 a month. And they were together just as long as Will and Jada was together. So if they actually were to divorce, he would probably have to pay her $60,000 a month, along with giving her probably $150 million. And he ain't got no job. All he do is run around doing Instagram videos.
Who are you talking about doing the Instagram videos?
Will Smith. That's all he does. Just run around doing Instagram videos.
Well, I thought he was doing like the behind the scenes producing and that type of thing.
Nobody cares about Will Smith.
I don't know.
Nobody cares about Will Smith.
So ultimately then, and I know you may have already talked about this in your platform, but why did he, knowing everything you just said, why did he smack Chris Rock? Because he, based on what you're saying,
because he wants to slap Jada Pinkett.
Interesting. You think that it was like a visceral reaction that he had toward her, that he just took it out on Chris Rock?
His mother used to get beat on by his dad, and his dad, he always felt like a punk because he couldn't defend his mama, right? So now you have a dude, Chris Rock, who actually tried to holler at Jada Pinkett. This is Jada Pinkett's words. Used to try to holler at Jada Pinkett while they was married, and keeps making fun of Jada Pinkett and Chris Rock every time he gets on stage. He said, you know what? I'm sick of Jada. I'm sick of us on social media. I'm sick of these comedians. I'm sick of everybody. I'm finna slap the crap out of a 50-year-old man that can't hit me back to let everybody know you better leave me alone. And what happens? Everybody keeps messing with him.
Of course.
Because he's a cornball. You're always going to get these jokes, Will. You're a cornball for life. I don't care who you slap. You're still a cornball.
But you know what? Okay, I hear what you're saying about the cornball thing, but I was having this conversation with someone. Even the most thuggish person has, on any awards, the Source Awards, the BET Awards, has never done something like that. Like, that's an extreme response to slap somebody. So could it be that Will has a side to him that we just don't know about?
Read this. Can you see this?
Ray's comment?
Yeah.
He slapped his rock to show Jada he could take on that. Okay. That makes sense.
He's sick of everybody calling him a cornball. Will Smith is sick of everybody calling him a pushover and a cornball. Everybody, if you have not already hit the like button, please hit the like button. If you have not already shared this video, share this video. And if you have not bought my card game, my Deeper Discussions card game, please purchase now. And it's not just for you. It's not, you're not buying this card game for me. You're buying this card game for you. There's 80 card games in here, and it's meant to help you vet dating prospects. And on top of that, it's meant for you to play it with other family members, because Thanksgiving is coming up. This would be a fun game to play with your family members. And why would you play a dating card game with your family members? Because everybody in your family is dating somebody. And it's important for all of y'all to sit around the table playing this card game to see how we are in the dating world. Some of y'all family members are hoes and they can't get it right. Some of y'all family members is getting used by somebody and you keep telling them to get out of the relationship. This card game could save at least 5 of your family members' relationships, or either help them get out of their abusive, dysfunctional relationships. So you buy this card game and either buy it for somebody in your family for Christmas, or play it on Thanksgiving when everybody's around and get an understanding of how everybody reacts to these deep, fun questions. Hit the link and buy my Deeper Discussions card game. You won't regret it. One, for Christmas. 2, play it on Thanksgiving when all of your toxic family members are sitting around the table, and watch the I'm telling you, watch the sparks fly. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to get your game, Aaron.
Yeah, the link is in the
I
chat.
like those types. One of my
Yeah.
favorite games is something about being black. It's like, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's like your black card revolt. I'm not saying
Black Card Revolt. Yeah.
I like those type of games.
Yeah. So this is not just a dating card game. This is a family issues card game. It's going to talk about your family issues, and it's going to pull out the person that's in front of you, their family issues. See, if Will Smith and Jada Pinkett had this card game to play, they would have never got with each other. I'm trying to tell you. Buy my dating deeper discussions card game. There's a link under this video if you're on YouTube, and it says shop. Just hit the shop button. You can buy the card game. If you're on Facebook, the link to buy the card game is under the title of this video. So we're gonna end it in about in a couple more minutes. Do you have any other thoughts or questions about Mr. Let Go, Tupac, Jada Pinkett, or Will Smith? Because you had some great, intriguing questions about me also, which was dope.
I did, and I appreciate. I actually do have one, and I hope, hopefully, this is not going to be an offensive question, but this does come up with internet personalities like yourself and Kevin Samuels. Is I don't know what your relationship status is, but when men give relationship advice and have strong thoughts about black women and that type of thing, their own status, like if they're married or if they are dating, or does that matter? And what I say, what I mean by that is, I have done some videos on Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, and one of my criticisms for him with some of his content, even though I agree with a lot of his content, I always wonder why is it that he did not have the results he would talk about. And that is one of the criticisms that I think comes up when I bring you up. So,
well, I am not a dating coach. I don't give a damn if any of y'all find a man or not. I'm not here to do that. All right. I would rather break y'all up from the man that y'all are with than help y'all find a man. The reason why is because I don't give a damn about y'all finding a man. I care about y'all finding yourselves. The reason why there's all these Jada Pinkett's running around here ruining men's lives and a whole bunch of dysfunctional men ruining women's lives is because we have not found ourselves. I don't care none about you finding no man. I need you to find yourself before you ruin somebody else's life. And the biggest person that y'all are ruining are these children out here. So I don't care none about no dating, nothing. I'm not a dating coach. I help people let go of their childhood trauma by discussing, one, all these amazing books that I go over in my coaching class, but also your deep-rooted attachment issues. See, I call myself Mr. Let Go. Specifically, I talk about detachment, not attachment. See, we only have two hands, right? And we spend so much time in our lives trying to accumulate more things, more experiences, and more people. But the problem is we got some in our hands already. Childhood trauma, the past, the ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend we don't want to let go of, the dysfunctional habits, whether it's eating, whether it's drinking. Have y'all watching low-key alcoholics, the mimosas and all these margaritas y'all got to have every 3 days, and then y'all come home and drink wine, eating issues, emotionally eating.
Yeah.
So it's so many different things that women and men have yet to let go of and detach from before they ever think about trying to attach themselves to another damn person. So I don't know nothing about these other people. I ain't here to help y'all find nobody. I'm here to help y'all let go of somebody.
Okay. So
that's me.
Okay. And so that clears that up, because like you said, you're not a relationship coach. So if you are not in a relationship or not married, it has no bearing on your coaching, because that's not what you coach about.
Yeah.
and I think the question that I was going to ask earlier that I forgot was, when it comes, when people always say marriages take work, relationships take work. So it sounds like a lot of what you're saying about teaching women or women how to detach, but where it gets
in
a
a
little
healthy manner.
in a healthy manner.
Mhm.
However, I guess, what are your thoughts on when people say relationships and marriages take work? Because a lot of that, what people think they have to do to kind of like maintain a relationship, is the opposite of detachment. It's actually, and I think that was some of what we kind of got into on the Lapeef panel. Was I was trying to say that, I'm trying to control my emotions so that I won't trigger people, so that I can keep the peace and that type of thing. But it sounded like you were saying, why do you have those emotions? And if somebody is triggering you, why not just walk away?
Well, one thing I teach the people that I coach is how to stop doing stuff. The impulse to do, the impulse to react, the impulse to clap back. Why? See, I teach the women I coach, as an example, we play a game called Whose Life Sucks the Most. If you start calling me all kinds of names, I'm just going to sit here and look at you. You know why? Because in almost every case between a back and forth with two people, the angriest, most disrespectful, and the loudest person, their life most likely sucks more than the other person.
That's interesting.
So the more stoic, the more calm I am, most likely the dumber you're going to look. If you're being disrespectful, not now, but if you're
Sure.
loud and disrespectful.
And the irony to what you're saying is that, even though I think there's a lot of truth to that, you actually come off like the person who doesn't care, and who is, you almost come off like the most toxic. Not saying you are, but the way I think my brain, and maybe many women's or many people's brain is programmed, the one who has no emotion is the one who probably doesn't care and shouldn't be there. And it's like the one who's showing emotion is showing passion. And that is where I think the disconnect was for you and I when we were on the panel.
Let me ask you this. Were you raised by a woman or a man?
More so a woman, because my
So
dad
start right
passed when
there.
I was 12.
Okay. So that's the reason why you think that. Most people, black people, were raised by women. And that's why most people are dysfunctional. That is a backwards, inverted way of thinking about logic. I just want you to think about that. You literally just said the most toxic person is the most calm person. And you said the less toxic person is the loudest, most passionate, and argumentative person. You learned that from a woman. Hence,
Probably so. Yeah.
my last example, that women are children. Adults operate in a stoic, logical, rational way. Children operate in an irrational, uncontrollable way.
Okay. So then where does the work come in? If I, took on that same demeanor and was calm and cool, collected all the time, was relaxed through everything, where's the work? Because everybody's saying relationships are work, marriages is work.
The
But
work is the not doing. What do you think meditation is? It's the not doing. It's the not thinking. See, to a certain degree, part of my teachings comes from something. It's from it's called Mushin. Okay, Mushin means no mind. All right. I believe in being non-minded. All right, because it's like a memory card, right? You have this mindful, I gotta know this, and what are you talking about? I'm passionate. You have a full memory card. How does your phone operate when it's full of memory?
starts to malfunction.
Starts to malfunction. How does a memory card that has no memory in it operate?
Great. It's like fast
Perfect.
and quick. Yeah.
Fast and quick, right? So I'm an empty memory card. You're a full memory card. So in every situation, I'm going to be the most rational because I don't have a mind. Japanese terminology called Mushin.
Okay.
I studied Taoism. Taoism starts with a T, but it's pronounced Taoism. So overall, what I actually help women in particular, but men also, to do is to not do, is to not think. Everything doesn't deserve a response.
I agree with that. I do. I had to learn that the hard
See,
way.
stress comes from your interpretation that everything around you is problematic. Cortisol flows into your system when you perceive the environment as being problematic. I don't perceive women or anything else as being problematic. I accept female nature. Y'all are children. So when I look at a woman, I see a little child. And what do I want to do?
I still don't like how that sounds, but I'm not gonna.
I don't care. See, that's another part of it.
True. I know you
I
don't care.
don't care what you think. Because if I cared what you think, I would be upset. I want to be right.
True.
See, you're right. I'm wrong. See how beautiful that is? I don't care. You agree on my life. I don't care. See, a dysfunctional person would be like, but I want you to agree with me because I have to have the right, the last word. And I don't care. Why do I want you to agree with me? I don't care. People in the comments, you, anybody else, I don't give a damn. I don't care.
So if you were in an argument with, say, your girlfriend or your wife, and she, was trying to make a point and she wanted to be validated on something, would you literally just say, I don't care? Like, I don't really care about what you're talking about?
I would give her a hug. A regular.
Or you would give her a hug?
Because that's what she wants. She wants attention. That validates her. She wants to be affirmed. See, most Black women have never been affirmed by anybody.
True.
And I don't argue. I was with my ex-wife 10 years, never had an argument.
What?
I don't argue. What the hell I'm arguing for? You gonna sit down, or you gonna be quiet, or you gonna come get some dick, or you finna tell me what's wrong, or we're gonna talk about it, but you gonna calm your little voice down, or you gonna have to get the hell out. I see, an argument is two people trying to be heard at the same time.
Right.
I don't care about being heard, so I'm gonna give you the floor. I've had like, what are you talking about? I didn't do. We don't had that, but it's never been like, who are you talking to? I don't get mad. I don't care enough to get mad.
Do you think that people misread that and misinterpret that as you being, I don't know, maybe narcissistic or just not, whatever? What is that word I'm looking for? Nonchalant.
Functional.
I'm sorry.
Functional, rational.
No,
sensible?
I mean, do you think? I mean, you said you were married. I don't know why it ended, but does it have anything to do with your lack of emotions or her maybe feeling as though?
No, I'm very emotional. I'm a Pisces. I'm emotional. I just know how to operate within my emotions. I cry, all that shit. Guys on Lapeef laughed at me because I at some point I said I cried a few days ago.
I heard you say that in the part one of this, and I was like, he cried? You said you almost cried. It's like, I can't even imagine him almost crying.
Yeah, I'd be crying.
But how do you go from I don't have an emotional response to I cry?
I have emotional responses to things that merit an emotional response. Some batshit crazy woman yelling at me or talking shit doesn't require a response.
But what if she thinks it merits a response? You may not think it merits a response. What if she does?
Well, the response then would be get out.
And I heard you say that, and I was like, "How?" But this is your wife. What if you would tell your wife to get out of the house?
No, I'm not going to tell my wife to get out of the house.
Okay.
You going to calm your ass down, or we're going to get a divorce.
Just because she's being emotional.
If you have some issues that need to be addressed, you go get your ass some therapy, and I'll be here when you get back. But you gonna figure that shit out over there with my support.
Huh? She's pregnant.
Oh, my ex-wife told my homeboys to get out when she was pregnant. She was pregnant. She was acting a fool. She went crazy when she was pregnant. I understood that. She was pregnant.
But so are you gonna give her a pass because she's pregnant?
Yeah, she was pregnant. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then if you give the pregnant woman a pass, why can't you give? You do realize women have, I think someone was saying that on Lapeep, we have periods every month, right?
No. What does your period have to do with anything?
I don't know the biology of it, but there's hormonal
You know the biology
changes.
of being pregnant. You're saying being pregnant and being on your period is the same thing? Miss Biology?
I just know that women are hormonal at different times of the month.
Let me tell you something. You're gonna sit your ass down and you're gonna be quiet, or you're gonna get out unless you're pregnant. How about that?
Okay, I'm glad you at least added the unless you're pregnant on there. That's progress.
See, the thing about it is women, black women, are so accustomed to loser, weak men that actually respond to you responding to them. With me, you're gonna sit your ass down somewhere. I am Mr. Sit Your Ass Down.
Is that usually met with, do women usually listen to you and do that, or do they just go crazier?
I got receipts.
Oh, goodness. Are you going receipts?
You ready?
Somebody said you are not her father. Shira.
I am your father. I'm all your fathers. Y'all fatherless
immediately. The second the words come out your mouth. So the thing about it is, we have to have standards, requirements, and boundaries.
Yeah. Are you one of my favorite guys?
No.
You don't know?
Well, I have an idea, but I want to know.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite guys because we've known each other probably for a strong 6 years now, about 6 years. And you have been so consistent. Anytime you see me in public, you make sure I'm good. Mm-hmm. You're always asking if I need anything. Mm-hmm. If you see my hands full, you'll relieve that. Mm-hmm. If I'm about to leave an establishment, daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. You are walking me to my car. I have told you plenty of times, like, oh no, I'm good, I can handle it. And you're like, whenever I'm present,
you sit down.
You sit down and I got you.
It's been times where I've yelled across a room. It'll be a room full of people, right? And I see you with your purse. Donnie, where you going? No. Wait until I come back.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
And you'll be like, okay.
Yes. And there's even been situations, I remember a few years ago, where I had a situation with my daughter. A male customer got really out of line with her, and she was afraid, and she called me to come to her job, and I went up there, and the guy got really out of line with me, and I went live. I ended up going live on Instagram because I thought I was going to have to defend myself. And Aaron was the first man. I was in a whole relationship at that time. You were the first man that called my phone and was about that action. Where are you?
Where the address at?
Where we at? What we doing? And I've just always respected you for that. You were consistent.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
In that way.
How long have I been protecting you?
A long time, but
I protected you when your man was in the same building.
Yes, you did.
So what are you talking about?
However, that's not the norm. You know what I mean? Many women don't have just that force of protection, that armor of protection around them. And many women have to protect themselves.
So I don't believe in that. You know, any woman that knows me or likes me or whatever, she's going to get all of this work, all this energy, and it's going to be the loving energy too, but it's going to be the sit your ass down energy. And I'm never or will ever tell a woman to sit her ass down like, hey, sit your ass down.
You will.
Okay, I did that to you, but
you will. You told me sit your ass down. But even so, what I was gonna say
not
is
in a confrontational way though.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
That's funny.
Women
Okay.
enjoy it when I tell them to sit their ass down.
Okay. And you know what? I actually agree with you. So then why do you say that women don't like to be held accountable?
Because they were raised by women. They were programming by little dysfunctional cats.
I don't
Those
know.
dysfunctional little stray cats that grew up eating out of garbage cans.
Well, my mom was not a dysfunctional stray cat. I can say that.
Was
She
she?
did.
Huh? No? Why?
Mm-mm. No, I mean, she just wasn't. She was a great mom, and there was no beef like what you talk about. Moms being jealous of their daughters. She was never like that toward me.
Okay. That's fine.
But
So because of your life being one way, do you think all other women had the same life as you?
no, I mean, I definitely think there's myriad of experiences. But I guess to the
Do you know that? Do you know that most black women have extremely abusive and tumultuous relationships with their own mother?
I
The
can
biggest abuser in their life was their mother.
based off of people I know, I could actually agree with that statement. Yeah. There are a lot of
Okay.
black women who do. So that's true. Maybe I'm an anomaly in this case.
Yeah.
But going back to, and I know we're going to be ending it here soon, but just really quick, what she said and what you're saying about sit your behind down, because it's not like I haven't heard something similar. I think women like that. And
Thank
that's
you.
why I say that low key, subconsciously, a lot of black women, even though they won't admit it, like to be held accountable.
Thank you.
But you don't
So
agree with
it goes back to the two groups of women. You have dysfunctional women who are so dysfunctional where they don't even know what's good for them, and then you have functional women.
So
So when I say,
the
go ahead.
functional women are the women who I say somehow secretly enjoy accountability. Every time I say that, people disagree with me, but like, how is it not that? Because that woman who you just showed there, she didn't have any visceral negative response. She was like, "Yeah, you told me to sit my behind down, and I did."
Yeah.
And I can say the same thing about what I'm told sometimes. And low key, it what it does is it instills even more respect.
Order is and it's still structure and order,
Right.
right?
Because without
And that's
that,
the problem.
my
Father
emotions I would be allowed to be childlike,
all over the place, like a child.
like what you say.
My
So
job is to regulate the women around me to
yeah,
keep them out of their childlike regressive issue.
that's interesting.
I
You,
regulate women's emotions.
but like you said, I think the key is that would only work on a woman who is healed or a woman who is embracing accountability. Because I could see how the way you are could actually trigger women
Mhm.
as well, right? And
My
that would
job
be
is to trigger
another.
women.
Say it again.
My job is to trigger women. See, just like with this card game is fun, but it's somewhat triggering. We have to be triggered more. We have to stop lying to ourselves. See, we run around operating with this role self. And the word role self came from the book Adult Children of Emotional Immature Parents and Mother Hunger. So a lot of women have mother wounds and they take their mother wounds out on men because their mother manipulated her into thinking that the man is the enemy, not her. Your mother was the enemy. Was. You can forgive your mother. You can sit down and talk to your mother by utilizing my card game and have some really deep conversations with your mom and get a better understanding of why you are and how you are. And most likely, you know what your mother tell you, why she's so this and she's so abusive, as an example.
What?
Do you know why? What she'll tell you?
I don't know.
Her mother
Oh, because her mother.
did it to her.
Right. It's like generational curses and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So some dummy in the chat said, you're can't even say you're right. You misogynistic. Women need to be built up and supported and cared for by men. Well, the problem with that is I'm not your daddy, and I am your daddy at the same time. So I'm not here to re-raise no grown-ass woman. All right. But I am here to let you know what's going to fly and what's not going to fly so you can re-raise your damn self. Because at some point, you're going to have a come to Jesus moment and say, okay, am I going to keep running around acting like a damn dysfunctional child, or am I going to sit my ass down? So you're going to have to raise your damn self, because I ain't going to raise nobody, but I'm going to let you know the rules and regulations that's going to happen in this house and in this environment. And you're going to make a decision for yourself that is advantageous for you and your little big-headed kids. Because most of these dudes don't want to deal with no single mother with a kid. I mainly date single mothers because I understand the importance of community, fatherless kids, and I just love being a daddy because I got my kids are grown.
You are probably one of the only Black men in the manosphere. I don't know if you consider yourself in the manosphere.
I'm not in the manosphere.
Oh, you're not in the manosphere. Okay. Why aren't you in the why are you not in the manosphere?
Because I think the manosphere itself is toxic and it's cornballish. It's cool. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't see the thing about it is I'm an emperor. So I have my own environment. I establish my own environment. I'm not a part of a thing that somebody else is doing.
Is your content considered red pill content?
My content is considered my content.
Okay. I appreciate that. I like that. But I was going to say, going back to what you just said, I've heard you say that before about single moms. And I'm like, this is the only, I've never heard a Black man on the internet in 2023 say that he dates single. Like, that's like one of the most taboo things you could say to get people like, what? You know,
There's a whole bunch of losers that use words. It's a lot of cornballs that haven't had any children, don't have children, don't trust women, don't understand women, that see women as the enemy. How do I see women?
I would say not as the enemy. I mean, after talking with you, I think that you see women as, even though you make the statement about the child thing, but I think it's as your equal, but to the point where you're not going to engage in anything that's toxic. You're going to kind of be the bigger person in the situation. You like de-escalate things, which I think ideally that's what women want, right? Like most women want that. Unless you're toxic yourself, then you of course want the guy to up the ante.
Be toxic with you, right? So that's what I'm saying. I am like a cross to vampires when it comes to dysfunctional women. They're like, I get in front of them and they have a visceral reaction to me. They go crazy because they're like a vampire and I'm like the cross to the vampire, like So yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we gotta go because I'm about to get on Lapeef and I gotta go eat something and all that stuff so I got an hour before we get on Lapeef. Let's talk.
I don't know how you do this for hours and hours, but man, I gotta get on your level.
Money. I ain't got no job.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I want to know. I want to learn how to not have a job either.
But yeah, we'll do this again. You were really dope. You asked some really dope questions.
Thank you, and shout out to my community because they did give me some questions to ask you as well. So
okay, that's what's up, and we'll do another part because I love this conversation. I love your question asking, like, what do you think about that? That's really dope. That made.
I thought we were going to get in a big argument, so this went better than I expected.
I don't argue.
True. Yeah. I wasn't triggered.
Right.
You didn't trigger me.
Yeah. So have a good rest of your night, and I will be on Lapeef. Let's talk in another 45 minutes.
All right. Bye, Aaron.
All right.
Bye, viewers.
Bye-bye. Have a good one. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this show, and I hope y'all learned something, because this wasn't just about Jada Pinkett. This was about women and their emotions and their choices. You feel me? So if y'all enjoyed this conversation, 1, hit the like button. 2, share this video, especially Facebook people. 3, buy my card game, Deeper Discussions. The link is in the chat. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. The link is under the video. All you got to do is hit the shop button. On Facebook, the link is under the title of the video, so you can see the link there. And enjoy playing it. This game is so freaking fun. Yes, because the truth had to come out, of course. But is the truth coming out in your life? This is the truth right here. Playing this game will help you bring your truth out of you and the person you're dating, your kids, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your mama, your coworker, your best friend, your little toxic friend that can't get out of their relationship to save their life. This will save their life for them. Because I know you sick of telling them to get out of their relationship. Give or buy this card game for them. Buy from, for Christmas or whatever. Or get it to them. And next thing you know, and just say, hey, play this card game with your abusive, toxic boyfriend and watch what happens. Watch what happens. She will finally be able to leave her abusive, toxic boyfriend after playing this game. And with all that being said, I am out, and I will see y'all later. But don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mr. Let Go, and follow my Facebook page. I was about to say channel, which is also Mr. Let Go. Nice collab. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. But like I said, do not forget to hit the like button and buy my Deeper Discussions card game. It will change the whole dynamic of everybody around you. Talk to y'all later.
For Discussion card game is meant to give you and other players deep understanding of how we all deal with relationship, when or if things get serious. One of the biggest reasons why people break up is because of underlying family issues. This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. What is the one thing you wanted but didn't receive when you were young? Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. It'll even tell you what's wrong with your sneaky link. If you and your sneaky link need to have a conversation, these are the cards. Actually, these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.